It's not the hump bump. It's the Josh Allen.
Josh with a little help from his friends. That's a touchdown.
68 yards away. It's up there. It's out there. And it's good. It's good from 68.
Week 9 is here, and so is another episode of the Pick6 podcast. The show begins right now.
Bum arm. Second and goal. Flacco. End zone. Touchdown. Yossi Bush.
Welcome to another week of NFL action. This is week 9, pick 6. And, you know, a lot of you are still recovering from the World Series. Fantastic World Series, by the way. Shout out to both teams. You know who they are. You know who won. You know who lost. Blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get into all that. But respect to good sports. We've had a weekend of fantastic sports. Upsets, shockers, roastings, the whole 9 yards. And I gotta say something, and I'm gonna shout out. I'm not gonna talk about this game, but I want to talk about the quarterback. Joe Flacco has now officially convinced me that the Cleveland Browns system is a total, utter disaster. It's an atrocity. It's an atrocity because Baker Mayfield left and he is doing just fine. Joe Flacco is 41, 42 years old. Still has the mechanics. He has some bad nights. He's going to play like his age sometimes. And for some reason, since he's left that place called Cleveland, he has played better football. He threw 2 picks. Yes, he did. He got sacked 3 times. Okay, whatever. He threw 31 for 47, 470 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he threw some good balls. And I'm now totally convinced that the Cleveland Browns organization is a mess. And I'm feeling terrible for Shador because I don't even think Shador can help that team. The defense, I've been a big fan of the defense all year. They've shown me they're one of the best defenses the last 2-3 years. Period. They've been phenomenal, that defense. The offense has been putrid. Kevin Stefanski, for some reason, has won Coach of the Year twice and still can't fix it. If you can't fix the situation after that, and by the way, they're going to lose the bye week too, and they do have a bye week this week. Shador left to go visit his dad. And when you're a team like that and you're struggling, would you not stay and try to get some things sorted out and be even more prepared for the bye week? But I'm not even mad at Shador because I would leave too. I would disappear too for the week, for the weekend or the week or whatever it is. I'm now convinced that Cleveland is an utter mess and there's nothing or no one that could fix it. Kevin Stefanski's on borrowed time and he's definitely going to lose his job. Next up on the show, I want you guys to listen to this clip and then I will continue on with the show.
Hey, we got 60 minutes. 60 minutes tonight. 4 hours of pain. 4 hours of making us feel you. Hey, once we get out there, let's light the gate and let's go do what we do best. Let's go. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is back to his old ways. He's back to his old self. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. They lose 28-6, and this is pick 6, week 9. Absolutely just no life in them at all. Lamar walks into Miami, pretty much home for him. He's a Florida kid. And he says, hey, guys, I'm home, and I would like to talk to you guys for a few seconds. I'm back, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 18 for 23, 204, 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry says, hey, I'm going to do something too. I'm going to run 19 carries for 119 yards. 28-6. And Tua's pregame, as you guys just heard, was awful. He was awful. So that is that. That is the first game that I'm going to obviously talk about for Week 9, Pick 6. And I'm telling you, I'm going to get to the next clip in a few seconds, and then I will continue on with the show. But as far as Miami's concerned, going to 2-7, the season's over, obviously. And what is going to happen next with the front office and, of course, the coaching staff, because this team just, I mean, that one game against Atlanta was a spark fly. But then you see this, you're just like, oh, man, godly awful. So let's get to the next clip, and we're going to roll on with the show.
Still no call, even though both teams are not coming back to the line of scrimmage.
Terry, you mind hopping in here? I didn't see his leg whip or any trip at all.
Now, Kirk, it's not a foul. He gets him with the lower part of his rear end, torso or whatever. He doesn't raise his leg and impede or obstruct the opponent. It's an incorrect call.
Well, they call it on.
So I wanted to separate the clip and the game and make this particular incident a solo situation, a solo piece that I wanted to talk about. I talked about the game. Now I want to talk about this. So there was a moment in the game, 14-3, Ollie Gordon III accidentally slips. If you're a fan or not of the team or football, anybody with common sense would know that was not intentional. He just slipped. It was accidental. He just slipped. And they decide to call a tripping call. Technically PI. It's a PI type call, sorry. And I've been seeing a lot of these like dumb calls in these games because I watch the games. I just don't do this show based on reading stats or things that I pretend to know. I do these things because I actually watch what's going on. And I watched the game last night, and I was just absolutely just appalled by some of the calls that were made. And there was more calls. If you watch the game, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. But the NFL is getting to a point where a lot of these officials are either not trained properly or the game is structured in a way to not make the situation fair at all for one of the teams. Now, I don't know what it is. The NFL knows what they're doing, supposedly, but right now, it's not a good look. There's a lot of plays this year that I've seen. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what's this? And it's getting to a point where it's like, come on, seriously? And it's obvious. Fans know. People who watch the game respectfully and base it on facts and not their emotions and feelings will tell you that too. Former players have come out and said, what the hell? You know? So you guys saw the clip. Not saw the clip, but listened to the clip. And if you haven't seen the clip, it's all over social media. Your IGs, your Twitters, your TikToks, your whatever, YouTube, doesn't matter. Whatever you do when you play on your phones, because 90% of you play on your phones. When it comes to social media, most of you are not on the load management department. You're on your phones, how long your batteries are drained. So go check the clip out. But that was the clip that I just played, I shouldn't even call it clip. It's a soundbite. I need to stop calling them clips. That was the soundbite from that PI call on Ollie Gordon III. And it's preposterous, it's pathetic, and it's one of the most incompetent calls I've seen in the last little while from the NFL. Like, you guys got to get it right. You guys got to stop this. And then on top of that, his coach is screaming at him. The guy has no clue. Now, why I say that is because before you scream at your player, why don't you go look at the play before you go against your player? I'm defending my player until otherwise. I don't care what's going on. I'm defending my players until further notice. Once I see the play, process it, understand the whole formality of it, then I'm going to turn around and say something. But you just don't scream at your player like, this is why Miami's a mess. This is where coaching comes in. Mike McDaniel, once again, absolutely clueless. You're 2-7. You should be out of a job. And I don't want you to lose your job because, no, get your money and get the hell out of Miami. You're not going to change this around. You're not going to turn this around. You don't scream at your player when you don't even have the whole scope of the play. You don't have the whole scope. And when I saw that running back coach or whoever he is screaming at Ollie Gordon III, I was like, is this guy an idiot? Actually, he is an idiot. This is where you know a team is not on the same page at all. So that's the clip I wanted to play. Here's the next one, or the next soundbite. I got to start calling these things sound bites. But here's the next soundbite, and we'll continue on with the show.
Cheers from Steelers fans left and right. Jones to throw it. Intercepted! It's picked off by Wilson! Another huge play, but
So last night, the majority of us in North America turned our clocks back an hour. And so did Daniel Jones. He turned the clock back today, as you just heard in that one soundbite. Daniel Jones was phenomenal, 31 for 50, 342 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, and the Pittsburgh defense sacked him 5 times. He also ran for a touchdown, but Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers came out with a 27-20 win. An old school Pittsburgh defense beating. That's what they did. They came out and they said, nah, we're going to let the defense win this game. And did they ever? Defense came out and did what they had to do. You know, the Colts are 7-2 now, and the Steelers are 5-3, and that AFC race for those 7 spots are getting real tight right now. And, you know, as I go on with the show, when I get to the other couple of games I'm going to talk about, then I'm going to really break down what's going on in the AFC race, because it's going to go right down to the wire. So NFL season is just one of a kind, and if you don't think so, you've lost your mind. But the Steelers came out with a 27-20 win. So, and you know, as I get to the next game now, you heard the clip earlier to start off the show. You've all heard my comments about the situation in Minnesota with the quarterback situation, with, of course, Carson Wentz season is ending. And J.J. McCarthy, after sitting off a lengthy period of time with an ankle injury or high ankle sprain or whatever it is, makes his return today, goes into Detroit, which he's familiar being a Michigan kid, and plays a pretty decent game. I'm not going to knock the kid. He only threw for 143 yards. It was 10 for 25. That's typical J.J. McCarthy type of football. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He also ran for 1. Was sacked 5 times, of course. But that is J.J. McCarthy. He's not a 200, 300-yard quarterback. He's a very systematic type quarterback who needs a good play caller to help him. Otherwise, he's going to be lost, and he will get sacked, tackled, and all of the above by any defense out there that finds a way to go after him. Jared Goff was 25 for 37, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked 5 times. The Minnesota defense was going after him pretty good. Coach Flores was doing his thing and doing a great job. So, division game, 27-24, Vikings back to 500. The Lions are 5-3, another tight race in the NFC. I will also talk about that later on. So, but this next clip, and I'm going to go to this particular game because I just watched this game tonight. And I have to say, And this kind of coincides with Kevin O'Connell and what he's been doing with players in the NFL, because this guy right now should be an NFL, maybe NFL Player of the Week, but he should be an NFL MVP candidate. Definitely an MVP candidate. So, clip is coming up. After the clip, then I'm going to proceed to speak about this team and this quarterback.
2nd and 3. Darnold throwing sideline. Smith and Jigba's got it. You see why he has had the top receiving yardage.
Sam Darnold, in the first half of this game, was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they got up 21-0 with 8 minutes and 41 seconds to go. At that point in time, he had 142 yards. He was actually 10 for 10. He was perfect. He had 3 touchdowns. He wasn't sacked. And then with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the in the second quarter of the first half, 13 for 13, 229, 4 touchdowns. Sam Darnold, since leaving San Francisco, where, Santa Claus is the guy who believes that he's the mastermind behind everything, leaves San Francisco, goes to Minnesota, works exclusively and intensively with Kevin O'Connell to rebuild whatever he was not using his skill-wise and bringing his confidence back to a pro-style level. And now look at him. This is Kevin O'Connell. Like, this is all Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold revitalizing himself, because he was not going to do that in San Francisco. When you're around Santa Claus, he's not about you. He's about the team, and he's about himself. Actually, he's about himself first. Santa Claus, because he's the gift that keeps on giving. Just ask Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. But anyways, back to Sam Darnold. What a performance. I mean, he did throw that one Daniel Jones-style interception. But besides that, he played good. He came out and did what he needed to do. The team did what they had to do. And, they won the game 38-14. He finished off with 330, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was 21 for 24. Jaden Daniels got injured in that game, and I really, really feel for the kid, because the kid is good. He's really good. But this is a sophomore year. He's going to have to get through those kinks. He will, and he'll be back stronger than ever. Because these guys basically gave this kid, the keys to the car, and not even asking him what his driving experience was or what was required of him. Because that's what the NFL does when they draft these quarterbacks. Just expect you to just jump in and do whatever, which is preposterous. But at the same time, that is what it is, and that's the business of the NFL. So, we don't know what Terry McLaurin's situation is going to be now. He might just sit out the rest of the year after they just gave him a chunk of money in Washington, which they tried to avoid. You're not going to win with Marcus Mariota at quarterback or Deebo Samuels as your main receiver. He's not a threat nor a all-world option. So Washington, I think, is looking at, getting ready for 2026. Seattle, they're looking like a team that can compete for a Super Bowl, and they have a potential MVP quarterback. So look out for Seattle. Look out for Seattle.
Here's McCarthy. Pressure coming. Zips one downfield. It is caught! Addison came back to get it. Jordan Addison aware, and how about the...
So J.J. McCarthy is back, and everybody's ranting and raving about him. Calm down, folks. It's just one game. But yes, it's a big divisional game against Detroit. I'll give him that. He came in very prepared, very poised, very excited to be back. I mean, I'm going to give him credit for that. But they're still 4-4 and out of a playoff spot. So really, what's the big thing? Your objective is to win games and win a Super Bowl. I don't care what you want to say. I don't care what anybody has to tell me. Your objective is to win games and win a Super Bowl. He finished off 14 for 25, 143, two touchdowns, one pick, and was sacked 5 times in that game. That's J.J. McCarthy. That's what he was in Michigan with Jim Harbaugh. Do you all believe that's going to win more games and win a Super Bowl? Exactly, because it's not going to happen. Jared Goff, 25 for 37, 284, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked 5 times. It was just a battle of the defense versus offensive skills. And Flores won the defensive end. So at the end of the day, it's one of those games where you're just like, it's interesting. It could go either way for either team. For Detroit, they continue to try to get back on track and win the next game. And, hope that everything continues to be as smooth as possible. Not smooth as possible, but smooth in terms of, the game flow. But it's not. It's the NFL. Minnesota's going to have to do a lot of winning. And I don't think J.J. McCarthy is the answer. But again, who am I, right? So I'll just leave it at that. So the next game I want to talk about, of course, I got to talk about KC and Buffalo. KC, everybody's been talking about this matchup over and over and over again. It is always a good matchup in the regular season, but the playoffs, you know how it goes. And of course, last year, what happened again with the 4th down forces the NFL to make another new decision, which seems like every time these two teams play each other, something new is being enforced. But whatever. Bills won 28-21. Josh Allen had 273 yards, 1 touchdown. He ran for 2 touchdowns. One of them was a tush push. Yes, the Buffalo did do it. It's legal until further notice, folks. Calm down, haters. Calm down, marks. But yeah, Mahomes threw an interception. 15 for 34, 250. It just wasn't the atmosphere Mahomes wanted. But if anybody could survive through something like this and get back into the playoffs, it's Kansas City. They know how to win, and that's the key. When you know how to win, the rest is smooth. So, next order of business, when we get back to continue on the show, I'm going to talk about this particular game just because of what I've been seeing from both these teams this season. But before I get to that clip, I want to talk about Joe Flacco. And I want to talk about him again because something I just read here talking about Joe Flacco and his efficiency since going to Cincinnati. And I'm going to say it again because I talked about it to start the show. Cleveland is the issue. It will never change. The water will never be purified until they get rid of everything in Cleveland, including ownership. They need to reboot from start. So efficiency for Joe Flacco has gone up so substantially high. Anyways, next clip, we're going to hear from Matt LaFleur, and then we're going to get to this particular game.
What worries me is this team is fragile because their head coach is fragile. Just hope they get on the run. They got the players. They got enough players, but the team's reflective of their head coach. You can't count on anything. They're soft. And so they're capable. I mean, look at they've lost to Cleveland and Carolina. And yet on the other hand, it would be fitting for LaFleur to beat Philly next week. But you can never count on him. And then the problem with that is you get in the playoffs and you don't have enough games where you can't count on them.
Give credit to Carolina. They played the game that they had to play in order to beat us in regards to trying to run the football consistently throughout the course of the game and just make us dink and dunk the ball down the field, which we were able to move the ball, and then played good defense in the red zone. We had the 2 turnovers, missed a field goal. So we did enough things just, we deservingly got our ass beat.
So Carolina went into Green Bay and won. Plain and simple. They went into Carolina and won. Why and how did they win? They just came to play. I think that the Packers were unprepared. They were not prepared properly. And you saw it. Carolina found ways to score. They found ways to make defensive stops, and they found ways to say, hey, we're going to make the play here, and there. And they did. Everybody talk about Green Bay being a Super Bowl contender after the Michael Parsons trade, all this, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, calm down. Relax. It's not over until it's over. Everybody's hungry in the NFL. Now that most teams have played 9 games, most have played 8, and some have played 9. We're halfway through the season. Now you see what teams look like. Now you really see the identity and what teams are going to be going forward. So at the end of the day, it's football, and that's what it is. So, but that game was interesting because just the way it went down, like it just had that feeling, it had that vibe, and they knew what they were doing in that game. So, at the end of the day, you got to look at it from this perspective. NFL, as they say, is any given Sunday. Any given Sunday. And it seems like on this particular Sunday, they just didn't have enough. Green Bay just, like I said, I felt like Green Bay was ill-prepared and not ready to play football. They were not. And it showed very, very distinctively. So, now the final game I'm going to talk about here, I feel like this game has to be talked about because it should be talked about. Denver is a strange team. I just see a lot of strange things with Denver. For the simple fact that Bo Nix is not the type of quarterback that Sean Payton envisions, because his high octane offense with a guy like Drew Brees in the past showed you like what he could do. I mean, Bo Nix only finished with 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, Bo Nix is just Bo Nix. Played against Davis Mills because CJ Stroud went out with a concussion. And now the Broncos are 7-2. Like, you're like, what? Yeah, the Broncos are 7-2 now. Like, it's crazy that they're 7-2. But again, they've worked their tails off. They've had some breaks, and now they're in the position they are in. So the race in the AFC and NFC is going to be something else. So it's just, I don't know. It's crazy. The NFL right now, at the midway point right now, is just on a different level when it comes to the games, because you don't know what's going to happen. And right now, like, let me get to this. Let me go to this if I have a chance. Let me see if I can go to this here. So, yes. So right now in the NFC playoff picture looks like this at the moment. Eagles at 1, Bucks at 2, Seattle at 3, Green Bay at 4, Rams at 5, 49ers at 6, and Lions at 7. And the bubble teams are the Bears, the Panthers, and the Vikings. The Vikings are done. Not with J.J. McCarthy. AFC, Colts, Patriots, Broncos, Steelers, Bills, Chargers, and Jaguars. In the outside looking in, on the bubble are the Chiefs, who've both, not both. The Chiefs so far have lost to both the Jaguars. Yeah, I should say that. Jaguars and Chargers. Sorry. The Chiefs have lost to the 5th seed, the 6th, and the 7th seed currently in the AFC race. Buffalo, the Chargers, and the Jaguars. Bills, Chargers, Jaguars have all beaten them. Chargers are in the same division, so if they win a second game, it's a wrap when it comes to playoff scenarios with the Chargers. So the Chiefs are they got to be hungry because things are tightening up real quick in the NFL. So anyways, I think I've covered the games for this week. I'm definitely not covering Arizona versus Dallas. That's a waste of time. 2 dead horse teams that are just trying to survive. No disrespect to Dallas, but Arizona is a mess. And it's been a mess. So, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, this was another edition of the Pick Six podcast. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I'm signing out, signing off. Peace.